Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to my AFC and NFC championship game predictions for the 2025-2026 NFL season. Or you could just abbreviate it to my championship game predictions for Championship Sunday. As this will probably take the least amount of time as at least all the pre-Super Bowl championship, pre-Super Bowl playoff game prediction, because of the fact that there's only 2 games to talk about. So let's not waste any more time and get into this with the first of the 2 games happens, which is Denver Broncos versus New England Patriots. The Denver Broncos, as I said, are the number 1 seed coming into this game, will be hosting New England Patriots. This game after they beat my Buffalo Bills in an incredibly heartbreaking game for me that I don't want to talk about. And the New England Patriots are coming in via a pretty solid beating of the Houston Texans in what was probably the worst playoff game I've ever seen from a quarterback since I started, watching football as a football fan. It was horrible. C.J. Stroud played so bad that game. But this isn't about C.J. Stroud and how badly he played. This is about the New England Patriots and how they match up against the Denver Broncos and vice versa. And in my opinion, I think the New England Patriots are going to win this game. But I think that's mostly almost purely due to the fact that, unfortunately for the Denver Broncos, on the second to last offensive play of the game, Bo Nix, the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos, ended up fracturing his ankle and is now out for the entire season, which is just really fucking unfortunate. It really fucking sucks. And as I said, losing the starting quarterback is the literal only reason why I'm choosing the New England Patriots to win this game and continue their Mickey Mouse run, because New England Patriots, they're going to get destroyed in the Super Bowl if they make it. If they get to the Super Bowl, they're going to get destroyed. I guarantee you this. They will get destroyed by either the Seattle Seahawks or the Los Angeles Rams. They are not as good as their record implies. They are a very fraudulent team. The only good teams they've beaten are the Buffalo Bills once in Week 5 of the NFL season. Debatably the Los Angeles Chargers, but once again, Los Angeles Chargers in the playoffs are not exactly the greatest team ever. And usually Justin Herbert is 0-3 in the playoffs after the Patriots beat him, so the quarterback usually never won a playoff game. So Chargers are debatable, and then Texans. So at most they've beat 3 good teams. At worst they've beat 2 good teams. The Patriots have beaten no one good. And once again, I think that if the Denver Broncos had Bo Nix as their starting quarterback, they would lose, and not only lose, they would lose badly if Bo Nix was the starting quarterback. Bo Nix, even though he's not the greatest quarterback ever, once again, he's very clutch. He's, able to get it done when it matters most. And as I said, he had a very good game against the Bills. And, there's a reason for that. Mainly, once again, he had some classic, fourth quarter, magic, which part that's on the Bills' defense not doing a good job, but still, as it, once again, there's the reason why he's, what's the right word? I would say he's an Iceman, but Caleb Williams is the Iceman. And as I said, when it comes to quarterbacks, Bo Nix is basically just the AFC version of Caleb Williams. Well, I wouldn't say he's as clutch as Caleb Williams. He was still, a very clutch, very good, very solid quarterback overall. And once again, when the fourth quarter comes around, he goes from being, once again, a very good quarterback to being maybe the best quarterback in the league, other than Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the fourth quarter. But that's about Caleb. It was the Denver Broncos not having Bo Nix really fucking hurts them, and in my opinion, that reason is, almost single-handedly the reason why I'm choosing the Patriots to win this game. Is just because it's really hard to win a playoff game when you do not have your starting quarterback available. It's really hard. It really sucks for the Denver Broncos, and once again, I think Broncos with Bo Nix as their quarterbacks is a little better team. Their defense is much better than the New England Patriots. They have a good defense, but Denver Broncos defense is, as I said, in my opinion, a top 3 defense in the NFL this year, only behind, the Houston Texans defense and the Seattle Seahawks defense. Their offense is, pretty damn good, debatably the best of the 3 teams, are the best, defenses. I would say they're probably slightly worse than the Seattle Seahawks offense, to the fact they don't have, Jackson Smith-Njigba, which he's a dog. We'll talk more about him in a bit. But still a very good offense, once again, with Bo Nix as quarterback. And once again, I think they're just overall the more well-rounded, balanced team. Again, these Patriots who have a really good offense, but their defense can, it's not exactly the greatest. It's a good defense, but there's been games where they've gotten torched, like that second Buffalo Bills game, for example, is the best example of the game where just got completely torched. That defense, like the Dallas Cowboys defense, which is a Cowboys fan, not a good comparison. Yeah, but once again, even though once again we're playing in Denver, and I think they're overall a more balanced team overall. At least when Bo Nix is starting, Bo Nix is not starting. He once again had the horrible injury. Because I'm going to choose the Mickey Mouse Patriots to win this game and continue their Mickey Mouse run to the Super Bowl, where I think it will inevitably end at the end of the very end of a season for any team in the Super Bowl against either the Seattle Seahawks or Los Angeles Rams, which leads us into the next championship game, the NFC championship game against the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams, where, as I said, this game, in my opinion, will be the game who decides who wins the Super Bowl. Denver Broncos and New Patriots, in my opinion, neither of them are winning the Super Bowl. Denver Broncos, I think, could win the Super Bowl if Bo Nix was once again the starting quarterback. But because Bo Nix is out for the year, I think the Broncos' hopes that winning it all is over. And Patriots, I just think, are completely fraudulent. Or maybe not completely, but at least very fraudulent. I think they're very fraudulent. I think they're not as good as their record implies. And as I said, and I think once again, no matter who they face in the Super Bowl, they will get exposed by either the Seattle Seahawks or Los Angeles Rams. As I said, but the real question is who will be the team that wins the Super Bowl? Because in my opinion, once again, the NFC Championship is the game that will decide who wins the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I think we will be seeing an NFC team win the Super Bowl this year. I think Broncos and Patriots have very little hope of actually winning the Super Bowl. Denver Broncos and could have, won it once again. But next starting quarterback, Patriots, I don't think could have won it even if, they were completely 100% healthy. Completely 100% healthy. The only way the Patriots could win it would be if, once again, they get really good luck when it comes to other teams getting really bad luck injuries, like with the Denver Broncos. This year after, that Bills game. Well, that was in the Bills game when the injury happened, but still, unless, Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford end up getting hurt for that game, as the New England Patriots will almost certainly lose to the Seattle Seahawks, which let's talk about that game. Seattle Seahawks versus Los Angeles. Once again, this is the game outside who will win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. As these are the two best teams in the NFC, both teams from the NFC West, and then the NFC West team will be going to the Super Bowl, obviously, no matter what. As I said, Seattle Seahawks defense is absolutely insane. The second best defense in the league, in my opinion. They completely destroyed the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners could do nothing against them. It was an ass whooping. I thought that game was going to be close. It was not close at all. The defense was way too good. Sam Darnold barely even needed to do anything because of how good that defense was. And, when he was asked to make the plays, he made those plays, which allowed the Seahawks, due to how good that defense was and their offense doing, what they had to do to get points on the board, just allowed them to completely destroy the San Francisco 49ers. Los Angeles Rams, on the other hand, coming off of a very, very close overtime game to the Chicago Bears, where the Bears were almost able to pull the win out of their ass by an insane, unbelievable fucking miracle play by Caleb Williams on a 4th and 10 for a touchdown, took the game to overtime. But unfortunately, despite the Bears' defense getting a stop and them getting the ball back in overtime, DJ Moore just completely gave up on the route he was running, which caused Caleb Williams to throw the ball to where he thought DJ Moore was going to be, to not where DJ Moore was, but instead where a defender was there to pick it off, and they ended up winning that game off the last game. So both these teams are coming out very different wins. Seahawks coming out of a ass-whooping blowout win, while the Rams are coming out of a very close overtime win. And once again, I think that does matter. Seahawks have a lot more momentum going in this game than the Rams, in my opinion. They had the much better win, and plus, something I know, from as an NFL discussion, something I heard, is usually a team who plays an overtime game the week afterwards is less likely to win. Usually the team who gets more rest usually wins. It's like a 65 to 35% win-loss ratio, favoring the team who, did not play the overtime game before compared to the team who did play the overtime game. And because of that, partly, as well as also the fact I think the Seattle Seahawks are just a much better team overall. Not much, but I think they're the better team. That defense is so fucking good that, I think it can beat anyone, when it's at its absolute best. And hell, even when it's not its best, it can be, once again, you would have to have an almost perfect performance to beat the Seattle Seahawks when their defense is, even just playing really good, not at their absolute best. And also, because I think their offense is still very capable in its own way. It's not like the Houston Texans offense, where that offense, once again, like that's just a bad offense. The Seattle Seahawks offense was not an amazing offense. That offense is still a solid, above average offense. That once again, when it makes the plays that it needs to be made, which, as I said, they don't like need to make any insane plays usually because once again that defense is so good they usually get them into good field position or get a turnover that sets up very short fields. Once again, when the Seahawks offense makes the plays that need to be made, which once again are not exactly super insane crazy plays because that defense is that good, they win games. Once again, for me, I just feel like the Seahawks have a much easier way to win this game than the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams, to win this game, they gotta hope that Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and just their whole offense goes absolutely crazy. Has an amazing fucking game. As I said, this game's so good that once again the Seahawks defense can't do anything about it. So once again, somewhere that they were doing in that second Seattle Seahawks versus Los Angeles Rams game, where, as I said, in that second game, as I said, the Rams offense was going absolutely crazy, and yet they still lost because the Seahawks battled their way back. Their defense ended up eventually figuring things out, shutting them down in the fourth quarter, and they still lost. So even if the Rams offense still goes crazy, yet that Rams defense also can't have a good day, which, I mean, had against the Seahawks that second time. Once again, even when the Los Angeles Rams offense was, playing out of its mind for a majority of that second Seattle Seahawks game, even when their defense was also playing, very well for majority of the second Seattle Seahawks game, they still lost because the Seahawks defense eventually figured things out, locked them down, and the Seahawks offense made the plays that need to be played and, made, and because of that, they were able to take the game to overtime, and the Seattle Seahawks eventually ended up winning it in overtime off of a touchdown and a 2-point conversion that was successful to win it. And once again, that was a game where things went a lot worse for the Seahawks. And once again, considering that the Seattle Seahawks have played the Los Angeles Rams twice this year, and I think the Seahawks got a lot more confidence since the first time they played, where they barely lost off of a missed field goal. And yeah, that second time, which, as I think that was that's the second win against the Los Angeles Rams, was the moment the Seahawks have kind of the moment where the Seahawks became the best team in the league, in my opinion. In my opinion, I still was already leaning towards the Seahawks being better before that game, but after the Seahawks won that game, they have been my number one team in the NFL ever since. And once again, they think they just got so much momentum from that game that, once again, it's carried them all the way to this moment. I think the momentum is not going to stop here, going up against the Los Angeles Rams again, even though it's been Sam Darnold's kryptonite. Once again, he beat them last time in a game which was, almost impossible to come back, and they still come back and won it. And they don't think this game in Seattle is going to be as crazy as that one. I'll definitely say that. In my opinion, the Seahawks are going to take control a lot earlier, not make as many dumb mistakes. Sam Darnold's not going to get fooled as much and have as many picks, and that Seahawks defense will also play better early on, which I think will allow the Seattle Seahawks to get the win, advance to the Super Bowl, and in my opinion, win the Super Bowl in the end against either the Denver Broncos or New England Patriots. But I'm predicting New England Patriots to go and win that game, which, as it means that the Super Bowl for me would be Seattle Seahawks versus New England Patriots, and once again, I have the Seahawks. But that I'll go more into that onto what might be on the Super Bowl matchup is on its own video once we actually know who the Super Bowl matchup is going to be. And now choosing Seattle Seahawks on New England Patriots to be the Super Bowl. Will say one final thought. It's kind of a boring Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl that everyone predicted or going to the playoffs to choose is the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. But I think at this point, it's what I'm predicting too, because both those teams made it to their championship games. And once again, I wouldn't predict the New England Patriots to win if Bo Nix is playing for Broncos. Once again, him not playing for Denver Broncos, in my opinion, it makes it so hard for the Broncos to win. The backup quarterback for Denver Broncos is not exactly the greatest back. He has some good things about him, but he's not he's once again that's the Stigum guy, I think is his name. He's I think Derek Stigum is his name. Once again, he has some good things, but once again, so inexperienced. And for his first start of the season, first start since the last game of 2023's regular season to be in the AFC Championship, that's just so hard for him. And I don't think he's gonna have a magical Nick Foles run, which is why which means I think we're going to win the AFC Championship, and then Seahawks think we'll win for all the things I talked about, means we are going to have the boring, NPC sort of Super Bowl prediction that was the popular one, which is Seattle Seahawks versus New England Patriots. In the end, I think that is what it's going to be, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching this video and listening to me yap about the NFC and AFC Championship and predictions for them. It was a lot of fun. I hope you have a good day. Subscribe to the channel, and goodbye.